What's happening? Big Shizzle reporting for duty. Shay Shizzle. Just welcoming you back to another episode of the Yellow Cafe podcast. I want to say this is episode 11, probably. Check the title. Let me know if I'm wrong. Make sure y'all get the Canary Garment hoodie in here though. Shout out Canary Garment. Check this out. This is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about is the reason why our people may act the way that some of us do once we get on because of the lack of success that we have achieved growing up, or the lack of attention towards our skills and gifts as a child. Why do we act the way that we act sometimes when we get money? When we see some of our people get money, why do we cut up and act the ass sometimes the way that we do? What some folks have misunderstood. Well, first off, let's understand that a lot of these artists are young. They are young. So I can only imagine what I would have been doing at that same age. But even me, why would I have been doing it? Where is the need for attention coming from? Does the lack of fathers have something to do with that? Does a lack of identity have something to do with that? I would believe that there's different reasons and cases for everything that's going on. But a lack of an identity would have to play a part somewhere in all of this, because that's why we would be looking for approval from others. We're looking for that acceptance. See, a lot of people don't look for information. They look for affirmation, meaning they don't look for information trying to get things right. They just look for affirmation, meaning they just want to be praised for what they're already doing as if they are right. They don't want to get it right. They just want to be right. And that's where you get caught up. But all of those things have something to do with feeding a vain spirit, or just feeding that spirit of everyone wants to be praised. Our artists want to be praised. They want to dress a certain type of style and in a certain type of manner. Not saying anything is wrong with dressing fire, but they want to be praised for the things that they do. It's not just stuck to our culture either. But why is it that so many people, once they become famous, want to be praised as an icon, as a legend? What have they done to get where they're at? How did people treat them before they were who they became? Is it because of lack of success? So I can speak for my culture, because I feel as though I would know the mind of our culture more than what I do others, even though I am mixed, biracial. I can try to, I can dip and dab into a few different things. But one thing that I feel a lot more comfortable with is just my people. And when I say my people, I'm talking about those of the same hue. And with so many stories of a lack of success, when people do finally get on, is it all of the years of people telling you that you were nothing, of believing sometimes that you will be nothing, even though a lot of us have and do believe we will become something someday? But is it because of those days, those years? Is it because fathers not being in the household, or things that happen to us? How many of us are spending our lives trying to show everyone that we possibly could that we are someone, because at some point in time in our life, another individual made us feel like no one, like no one? How many of us are still living like that? I see so many. I don't be meaning to pick on women like this, but it's just when it comes to social media and acting out and things actually being put out there for the world to see, it's usually women that are doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of men who are worse than women when it comes to talking nowadays. But whoever, let's not even just stick to women on this. But yeah, because there's a lot of dudes who do the same thing. You hear them rap all the time. I left this chick and got me a better one, this or that, woo woo. Or they trying to subliminally diss another female that they were previously dealing with, but now they got a new one. But I be looking at the new one like, son, she got the same mind, if not worse, than the first one. Why do we have to shit so much? Why do we have to shit? Is it because of, do we really feel that low about ourselves that as soon as we get a chance and opportunity to shit on others, that's what we jump and race to do? That's all it could possibly come down to at the end of the day. We feel so low about ourselves that as soon as we can get a chance to make someone else feel lower than us, I guess that really is the crab in the bucket mentality, which just blows me. Because as much as I know is the truth, I try to give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt that they wouldn't act that way. But why do we act that way? Why do we allow money, no matter how fucked up the act is that an individual performed in order to obtain that money, why do we act as if that money trumps everything? It doesn't matter. They got that bag. I don't give a fuck. People say all the time, "Oh, well, you hating." Well, but they got that. I don't give a fuck. Don't you know about your soul, nigga? Your reputation, your pride as a man, your pride as a woman. There's always some young or young-minded person that's defending someone like, "Oh, but they got that bag. You just hating because." Man, people don't have to be hating or jealous of you to literally see something that disgusts them and speak on it. If you do some fucked up shit, I don't have to be hating on you to be like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not hating. Sometimes you just really that fucked up that you fucking us up. You just fucking us up with the shit you doing. We like, what the fuck are they doing? You look at some of the shit these I mean, I see bitches sucking doorknobs on Instagram. I seen one bitch suck the bar that you push to flush the toilet in a public restroom. Sucking it. The fuck you mean? What are you doing? Don't get me wrong, they got niggas do dumbass shit too. Dumber than that. Y'all could comment, let me know. But it ain't just them, but people, period. And if they come up off that shit and now you speak on it, but you hating, they got that. I don't give a fuck, dog. And if you allow money to just trump discipline, morals, your soul, I don't think that you're someone that I want to talk to or really care what you think either. You own some other shit. There's certain things I don't care. If I would have to be broke my whole life because I refuse to do certain things, I would just be broke. Nigga been broke before. I've been respected though. You understand? So what matters more to you? But let me see. Let me get back to this. The reason why people may act the way they do once they get on is because of the lack of success that we achieved growing up, or the lack of attention towards our skills and gifts as a child. Now, I can't speak to that, but I will speak for those out there who have experienced lifestyles being brought up and raised in which they may have been in households or homes where they were abused mentally, physically, sexually, however. But I say all of the time, how many of us have things or had things that we did as a child that we no longer do? It's been stripped from us, or we don't have the time for it, or we forgot that we used to even like doing those things. I used to read books. I remember I used to read Goosebumps books when I was young, and I smash one in a day, whole book, smash it. R.L. Stein, Goosebumps, smash it, whole book one day. I mean, I don't mean to say that like that was Shakespeare or anything, but I want to say that might have been like around fourth grade or something. But I can remember that. I can remember getting one, smash it, let my mama know I'm done, and she'll hit me with another edition. Boom! Hit me with another one like the next week or something or whenever. That and a mango Snapple. She used to come through with the mango Snapple and just fuck the game up. Come through with an R.L. Stein Goosebumps book and a mango Snapple, nigga. Yeah, I'm letting y'all into that half white side of me right now. Come through with the Snapple and the Goosebumps. Yeah, and I'm good to go. Shout out the moms for that. But that's something I haven't done in so long. And there's certain things that just living life, you'll come across something and every so often be like, man, I forgot I used to do that. I forgot I used to like to do that. I think that's a shame. Even the Bible says, be ye as children. Not childish, but be like children in some things. Why does he want us to be like children? Because children can fight and then play together 2 minutes later. We got to hold a grudge from high school till death. No, he says, be like children. And another thing about children, there's nothing, as long as you think like a child, there's nothing that you can't do. Because if we had to learn how to walk as adults, a lot of us wouldn't be able to walk. A lot of us would have to think, like, imagine if, now I don't know how to explain it and everything. I don't know, but just try to get what I'm saying. Imagine if a lot of us had to try to walk, learn how to walk as adults. How many people would be thinking about the work that it would take? Like, how many people don't even want to go to the gym because it's too much work? Imagine if walking was like going to the gym, though, if you had to learn how to walk for the first time. A lot of people would just be like, fuck it, I'm going to do this wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if you had to learn these things. Because see, as an adult, you're thinking about the hard work. You're thinking about how long it's going to be. You're thinking about how many hours it's going to take to learn how to do this, the mental strain, the stress, the anxiety, the embarrassment of failure, all that shit. As a child, you don't know what any of that shit meant. Nigga, you got up and crawled, walked, ran, then started playing sports. That shit was nothing to you. Whatever you wanted to do, nigga, you was gonna do. As long as you would have flew if you thought you could have. If you got to the top of the roof and jumped off, you was gonna take off. You would have did that shit. But you had parents that would have grabbed you. Hopefully, most of you had parents that would have grabbed you before that could have taken place. But as a child, when you have the mind of a child, there's nothing that's impossible to you. It's not, oh, I can't do that. It's how am I going to do that? That's what God wants us to do in a lot of areas. But listen, we're talking about people who you may have had things that you forgot to do, skills that you forgot that you were even good at. I think that's a shame because it's been ripped away by the stresses of, I don't want to say adulthood. There's nothing wrong with being an adult and learning how to be mature and learning how to be a man or a woman. But the system in which we live in, though, there is something wrong with that, in which different adults are being treated as slaves or less than humans. Or there's no regard. I just don't understand a world in which people have to pay to stay. I don't understand a world in which you could die because you don't have a certain amount of money to buy a particular medicine or get a certain surgery. I just don't understand how that world is real. To where some people, if you have the money, you can get the best health care, but others, you can't. Like, who are we to determine whose life and soul is better or worth more than the next humans? There's a quote from Abraham Lincoln where they said, I'm not saying he was a great man. I'm not saying that. See, I always got to give these disclaimers because niggas look for any little thing to pick apart in your shit. Oh, Abraham Lincoln. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, I don't know if the nigga really freed the slaves for the reasons that was good for us, but I just know he had something to do with the shit. Make sure y'all catch that hat too, Canary Garment. Shout out Canary Garment. I don't know, but there's a saying where they say he was arguing with his wife, not necessarily arguing, but she was complaining about uh slaves or whatever it may have been, or a certain type of people. And they say he told her, Watch how you speak of them, because they are nothing less than what we would have been born into their same circumstances. See, some people have the idea that if they were born in place of someone else who was born, that they wouldn't have the same results as that individual. Like, oh man, that person's fucked up. Yeah, I know they've been through this and been through that, but I've been through that shit too. I wouldn't have took it like this. I wouldn't have took it like, you don't know how you would have taken things. You don't know. You don't know. Shut up. That's the thing. Everybody wants to know shit or be so sure, rather than showing love and kindness to people and some understanding. I'm not saying show understanding to the point with people the way you just let them run game and run their dumb shit on. You know, you check their ass when you got to check them. But a lot of people are being overlooked due to that. And I feel as though people who are taking anyone's kindness for a weakness should be punished severely. But it's the reason why people act the way that they do once they get on. Is it because the lack of success that we achieve growing up, or the lack of attention towards our skills and gifts as a child? Is that why? Have we been so neglected from attention to where once we get a chance to get on, we have to drop our nuts and let everybody know how great we are? Is that what some of us do? I'm just saying, I'm just speaking. I'm not listening. I'm not mad at the ones who are. What I'm saying is, if that's why we are doing things, what do you think we need to do moving forward with our children, with the culture? If we're seeing that our people are willing to get on Instagram live beefs to get clout, if you see that our children are willing to, and this in particular is only our culture. This isn't everybody. Yeah, other cultures would do some clout chasing shit, but they ain't doing this right here. They're not putting themselves in positions to just murder, to be murdered, or have to murder. No, they're not doing that. No other culture is on Instagram live in front of the whole world to see, for whoever's interested in it, telling each other how they will kill them when they catch them. I'm sorry. No one else is doing that. Are these things coming? Even a man who can murder another man, unless it's behind principle. Now, when I say principle, I don't condone any murder, but you do have to understand some murders. If you're in the game, if you're in a certain realm, and you're playing by a certain set of rules that you signed up for, and your demise only comes because of you breaking those certain rules in that game, people already understand. Or for the most part, yeah, there will still be people who are hurt behind that and want retribution behind that. But for the most part, people in that game can know and understand why whatever happened to you happened to you. But I don't even know what I was talking about with that just now. I don't even know where I was going with that shit. And I really had somewhere to go with that shit. I said in terms of when something happens to you and you was in the game and something happens to you, man, I don't even remember. I'm about to say, oh, okay. In terms of that's almost understood. But there's a lot of murders that take place that are not within the rules or the guidelines. It comes from weakness, a lack of leaders, a lack of leadership, a lack of manhood, jealousy for whatever. Do you know how many? Well, let me ask a question, because I don't know. I don't know the statistics on it. I just know what I see all the time. How many murders do you all think take place where neither the person who was murdered or neither the person who pulled the trigger, where neither one of them had real money, a real amount of money, to where either one of them had a real reason to be beefing with each other to a point of murder? What I'm saying is, if you're involved in these things and you're living according to a code, you're about money. But see, I see a lot of people who just jump into gangster shit and it's about murder first. It's not about money. And see, what I'm under the impression was that the gangsters were supposed to protect the community, make money for the community, bring money to the community, protect them from police that were coming into the community, harassing the community. But why is it now that the members of the community are terrified of the quote unquote gangsters in the community now? And why are they killing and shooting behind absolutely fucking nothing? Blocks that they don't own and will never be able to own because they cannot even show enough discipline to put money to the side to accumulate real estate of that nature. And then when some of them do, because not to say that all of them can't do it, then when some of them do accumulate that money, why would they then run to cameras to obtain attention, to make themselves hot, to just start the time clock on when all of that shit is going to come to an end? It has to be something behind it. It has to be more. That's what I'm saying. Is it behind our lack of self-esteem as people? A lot of murders that we see taking place happen behind nothing. It wasn't behind money. It wasn't behind a disrespect that was shown. And if there was a quote unquote disrespect that was shown, it was minute. Now at the same time, I cannot tell people how to react to actions. You can't ever tell anyone how to react to whatever you've done. But a lot of times people do know that they have overstepped boundaries with some of their reactions. It wasn't that serious. But if as a man, you do not have pride, if as a man, you do not have a lot in your spiritual or your self-esteem bank, if you don't have a lot of pride or manhood or maturity to draw from, to withdraw from your spiritual bank as a man, that leaves you to react as a child over and over and over, until you're in the penitentiary, left to put yourself in a position to now learn how to be a man, if you learn in there, if you get a chance to go to prison, if you're not murdered before then. Our ladies, once they get some followers, once they're starting to cut up, once they can finally get butt-ass naked just for the sake of some fans, is that why you're willing to do whatever it is that you're doing? Because someone in your past, somebody made you feel like a nobody. Is that why you're willing to degrade yourself over and over and over for $8 a month? $15 a month once you get a few more followers. I just see the ads, yo. I'm not subscribed. Is that why you're willing to do whatever? Because in your past, somebody made you feel like a nobody. Are you still fighting that feeling? Are you still chasing that ghost? Are you still trying to get back on that individual? Are you trying to make sure that no one ever plays with you like that again? Ain't the way to go about it, love. It's not. My nigga, if you want to kill anything in front of your path, it's not the way to go about it. Understand respect. But some of you are looking for respect from people who don't matter. You're looking for it in a game that has no respect. And I'm sorry to always go back to the Bible, but I guess once I get to talking, I'm a preacher at heart, so I'm always preach. But the Bible says, come ye out from amongst them. You're not supposed to be hanging around folks who don't have the same spirit as you. You're not supposed to be fucking with them. The Bible said, come out from amongst them. Don't try to change them, nigga. They're going to change you. You're not going to change them. They're going to change you. So just come your ass from around them. Let me read it one more time. We're going to close out, y'all. I said that like a service. I ain't taking no offerings, though. No offerings. Is the reason why our people, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The reason why our people may act the way that they do once they get on, is it because of the lack of success that we have achieved growing up, or the lack of attention towards our skills and gifts as a child? Listen, some of y'all need to stop raising these damn children just to think that their only worth is how beautiful they are. I'm so tired of seeing that. I'm sorry. Stop raising these young girls to just think that being beautiful is what their life is about. So beautiful, princess. I'm not saying nothing is wrong with loving them. Yes, fathers need to be in these young girls' lives to let them know that they are beautiful without doing some of the thottish things that a lot of women are doing in order to gain attention. but you need to stop flooding them with that shit. I see some of these young children. I know some folks ain't gonna like this, but I see some of these young girls, all they want to do is just keep telling them how beautiful they are. They're teenagers and they're still beautiful, gorgeous, this, that. It's like, yeah, I understand. You have a well-looking, healthy, beautiful young girl, but that's not what her life is all about. Like, so many people are having children and then prepping them, because at the same time you have a lot of children having children, even though some of us may be older or older than 20, older than 30, some folks older than 40, but you still act like a child because you think like a child. That's a big point as well. Children used to want to be like the parents. Parents now want to be like the children. Boy, you could take off and right there, huh? We could take off and right there. We could end service and take off and right there. The children used to want to be like the parents, but now the parents want to be like the children. So now where's the teaching? Where's the leadership? Where's the direction? So now when you're trying to be young again, you don't know where the fuck you going. So where y'all going? So you have parents who are now priming their children to be eaten up by the social media game because they're training them to just jump right into this game and be all about getting likes and looking beautiful and just being all about looks and being all about killing and slaying. And I just be sitting and looking, because the grown women who do it, I don't be giving a damn about it. So when I see these little bitty girls come across my screen doing it, I'm just shaking my head like, Lord, child, you starting early, huh? You just priming yourself up early to be consumed by the machine. Listen, start giving yourself, your children, and your community worth in things that still matter when you don't have motherfucking Wi-Fi. Take another offering right there. I heard another person say, in regards to phones and everything that we do and all the activities that we're involved with in these phones, they said, I cut my shit off at a certain time every day, cut it off, shut it down. Don't cut it on until a certain time of the day. He said, because I will never give power of my life and emotions to something that I can power off. How many people can actually say that? I'm not saying that I can say that. I ain't stunned. I ain't saying, I ain't repping. I ain't saying that I can do it. But that's what we need to be thinking about. That's real shit. Stop putting so much. What matters when you can't go to the store and buy makeup? What happens when you can't go to the store, fellas, and buy designer jeans and shoes? What matters when you can't be on Instagram Live and having people follow you? And see, a lot of folks right now, even in the midst of this coronavirus, they're still not being humbled because they have Instagram followings. So the internet's still on. I'm just waiting to see about them bitches in hurricane season. Once that fucking power go out, bitch. How many followers you got when you ain't got no fucking internet service, bitch? And I see you in fucking Winn-Dixie or Walmart looking chap. How big is your status then at that point? Come on, man. We got to do better, y'all. We got to be about real things. Our young men, you have to be about education, being able to provide for a family, being able to provide for your community. Women, you have to be able to provide to other young women the proper attitudes and how to support these men while we try to provide for communities. We're going to do better. But even if you can't start doing something better overnight, at least start admitting that you need to change in that thing. That's all God needs, to be able to walk into your life and start talking to you and moving in your life. But he can't move in your life if you're saying, well, shit, I ain't even doing nothing wrong. I don't see what the problem is. Even if you like doing something that you know is fucked up. To all my crackheads out there. I ain't one, but to all my crackheads out there. To all my fucking dope fiends out there. Even if you like the shit. To motherfuckers popping pills out there. To motherfuckers smoking weed out there. To y'all who might be homosexual out there, whatever it is that you do, alcoholics, thieves, whatever it is you do that you can't stop doing, you enjoy it. You know you enjoy it. That's fine. I'm not saying it's fine like it's fine, but it's going to have to be fine because as of right now, that's how you're wired. We can't change you. But at least just admit to yourself. I'm not saying you have to get online and talk to somebody about it, but at least admit to yourself, God, I don't want to do this thing. I know this is wrong. I know you're not pleased with this. And I know that this is something that endangers my chances of being with you in the afterlife. Just at least admit it. At least once you admit that you know something is wrong, even if you still keep doing it, at least God can say, okay, well, at least that's the first step. What they say, the first step to addictions is what? Admitting that you have an addiction. So God always says, confess. Confess to him. You ain't got to go talk to no priest or another man who lives and dies and needs to be confessing to God just like you. But you need to confess to God and just say, God, I don't want to deal with this thing. I mean, I do want to deal with this thing. I want to deal with this thing, get it out of my life, but I don't want to be controlled by this thing. Tell him. And then you can start seeing the changes, how now you can't even do that same act with comfortability. Now you start feeling weird before you do that thing. And you still may keep doing that thing for years. But sooner or later, now you start seeing how it bothers you. Now you start seeing, God, I don't want to be so egotistical. God, I don't want to be so vain. You know how you have to eat the fruits of the spirit and good things for you? You have to desire them. That's the only way that you can eat love, eat kindness. You have to desire them so that you can practice them and gain them, obtain them. So I don't mean to preach, because I just dropped a preaching video for y'all. Proverbs of Shizzle. Go check that one out. It was Matthew 5 and 11. But it's just another episode till we meet again. Y'all just keep it 100, 100. One.
It's payday, fella.